Hello and welcome to another episode of Scarah's Screamcast. It's me, Scarah, Damsel of the Doomed, and I have my guest with me, Hermann. Look at that boy. Hermann, the Dachshund of the Doomed. Oh, what a sweet baby. What a sweet one. What's going on over here? Oh, no, I'm okay. Thank you, though. All right, we're having a little bit of audio issues for a second with my headphones, but it seems to be okay now. I don't know what's going on with that. Today, it's a solo podcast. I like to do these every once in a while where it's just me and you and Hermann, of course. That way I can kind of get a little weird with it. Get a little weirder with it than I get with guests. I have to, be a little bit more professional, I guess, when we have certain guests on, and make sure I'm present for them and I can ask them questions and, let them have a platform. That's what I like to do when I have guests on. But when it's just me and Hermann, boy, we get to be weird. Right, Hermann? Let me tell you, by the way, Hermann, I do not, make him get on my lap for these podcasts. Once I sit in this chair and the lights go on, he comes over and he asks me to get in my lap, which is not something he does when I'm sitting in any other chair, typically. Like, this is just a podcast thing. For some reason, Hermann likes to be up here. He's a protector dog. I guess he's just protecting me from what I don't know. But as we speak, I am pulling up the chat so I can see your comments. Feel free to make any comment you'd like or ask me any questions you would like to ask, and we can make it an interactive podcast. Whew. Sorry, I just got winded. Sorry, Hermann. I got a little winded for a second, probably because I'm wearing a corset. Let me get a little sip of this. And my microphone's a little bit in my face. It's a little different than it normally is. I'm getting used to everything. Hang on. And I forgot to change out to my typical blood drip cup. I'm having a drink out of the damn Buc-ee's cup. I think I've told y'all this before. I like Buc-ee's for their bathrooms, and that's about it, except for Halloween time. I like to stop in when I'm heading to Houston for Houston Horror Film Festival in August. I love stopping at Buc-ee's because that's when they start putting out their Halloween stuff. And I can always find a good Halloween item or two. And this is one of them. I actually have two Buc-ee's big old cups, and they glow in the dark. The straw glows in the dark, the lid, the handle. It's got all these cool jack-o'-lanterns. I have another one. I switch them out, but they're very good. They keep your beverages cold. My only complaint is that it's got the dang Buc-ee's beaver on it. I'm not a big fan of the beav. Look, I'm not a big fan of beaver. Okay, it's just it's not what I like. It's not my preference. Also, Buc-ee's, like, I know a lot of you guys like it for the food, and it's just a lot of shit I can't eat. I can't eat 98% of what Buc-ee's has, even their meat, because when they put sauce on their meat and their sauce is full of sugar, and I cannot be eating it. But before I figured out like what foods are triggering various flare-ups, because I have this autoimmune condition, before I figured all of that out, I did visit Buc-ee's and I did eat the beaver nuggets, and I did enjoy beaver nuggets. I'm going to admit that right now. But now that I know what gives me flare-ups, there's just barely anything I can eat there, all right? And the stuff I can, like, sure, they sell hard-boiled eggs, but they're wrapped in plastic, I'm trying to like get plastics out of my life. Although it's pretty much impossible. This dress itself has plastic in it, you know what I mean? I'm wearing a dang plastic beaded necklace probably. I don't know if this is plastic, but it could be. Anywho, I digress. What was I? Oh, also, it's just too big. Buc-ee's is just too big. I say that, but I guess it has to be that size if you're going to have that many bathrooms. Oh, shit. So, God, sorry. Anyway, let's get started. Okay. First of all, there's David. Oh, yes, David says, woman's best friend. Oh, witch's best friend. My familiars, I have two. Gomez, for some, look at this proud baby. Look at him. For some reason, Gomez, he sometimes wants to be on the podcast and sometimes he doesn't. Herman, we're going to go ahead with our Pop Soap Pop questions of the week. And we're going to tell the people what we're drinking, what we're watching, and what we're listening to. Currently, I am drinking Criddle lemonade with True Lemon 2 packs added. I do a bunch of the lemonade, the caffeine free, and then I do 2 packs of True Lemon, crystallized lemon. And I mix it up, and it's got to be very cold. I like a lot of ice. That's what I'm drinking. What am I watching? Well, I just finished watching Widow's Bay. I watched the whole series. It took me a while, but I finally finished, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I think episode 4 might be my favorite, the really witchy episode. But yeah, really good. Very, very well done. The showrunner is a woman, and I can't remember her name, but it's definitely, you can tell she was definitely a fan of Stephen King and, probably 80s horror, I'm guessing, maybe 90s horror. But if you haven't seen Widow's Bay, I encourage you to check that out. I don't know what I'm going to watch next. I keep toying with the idea of watching, what's that one called? Cape Fear. But I'm not sure. I also, movie-wise, I just watched Project Hail Mary. That's the Ryan Gosling movie about, he's like a molecular biologist that gets sent up to space reluctantly to try to, figure out what's going on with some destructive planetary business. And he befriends an alien and they work together to save the planets, It's good. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Not horror, but I don't just watch horror movies. I like cinema in general. I like movies in general. I just happen to like horror, as a lifestyle, I guess. So that's what I'm watching. And I'll tell you about some upcoming stuff that I will be watching movie-wise here in a little bit when we get to horror headlines. And then what am I listening to? Big fat nothing. I'm not listening to really anything right now. But that's because I've been reading, and I picked up The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. Now, I've read The Talisman probably 3 times. This is probably my 4th time reading it. That book came out in 1984, and I read it when I was in high school, years after that. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. And then the second book of that series was called, what was it? The Black Tower? Is that right? The Dark Tower? The Dark Tower, maybe. The Black Tower? I can't remember. Anyway, they did a second book, Stephen King and Peter Straub, and that one came out in like 2001. And the reason why I'm rereading The Talisman is because Stephen King popped up on my feed the other day, and he was talking about how book 3 of that series is coming out October 6th of this year. And it's called There Are Other Worlds Than These, which I am pretty sure is a quote from either The Gunslinger or one of the books in the Dark Tower series, because The Talisman and all of that, that's heavily connected to the Dark Tower series, which is phenomenal. I've read the Dark Tower series twice, and I bet you I read it again before my life is over. It's a very good series. But anyway, Peter Straub is deceased, but he, I guess him and Stephen had been working on it, or have been working on book 3 for a while, and Stephen finished it. So it's coming out October 6th. So I wanted to, reacquaint myself with The Talisman, which, I mean, it's just one of my favorite books ever. And I wonder if it still is. When I first read it, like I said, I was in high school. I was probably 16. And it became my 16-year-old self's favorite book. I don't know if what I'll think of it now. I'll have to let you know. Let me check the feed. Okay. Hey, Tony. Let's put up Tony if we have him. I don't even know if we still have Tony on. Hey, we do. Look at that. Tony says that I still need to watch the movie Dead Calm with Billy Zane. Oh, you're right, Tony. I forget. Okay. Maybe I'll pop that on tonight. And then Silky Johnson, 9317. First of fucking all, Silky Johnson. That might be the best screen name I've seen in quite some time. I wonder where the 9317 comes from. But Silky Johnson, that's great. Cheers to you for that name. But they say, have you seen From? I believe the 4th season just ended. You know what? I watched the 1st season of From, and then I kind of fell off. It's good. It's got that guy. I think it's from the people who gave us Lost. One of the main characters in From was a main character in Lost too. But it was done really well. It also gave me Stephen King vibes, but maybe I should check back into From. And then Dorcas Supreme, which is another great name. The Talisman too. Yeah. Instead of the Dark Tower or the Black Tower or whatever it's called, he says it's the Talisman too. I feel like I need to, actually I'm going to tell you, can you Google what it is, what book 2 of that series is? Because now I can't, for some reason I can't remember. I had to go, I thought I owned the Talisman because I keep a lot of my Stephen King hardcovers because I know I like to reread them from time to time. And I couldn't find the Talisman anywhere in my house. I think I accidentally got rid of it. So I had to, find it online and purchase it. And what they sent me, I believe, is a first edition of the Talisman. So I'm thrilled to have it. It's like got the original artwork and all of that, and the publishing, the copyright date and all of that aligns with it being maybe a first edition. So that's cool that I got that. It was only like $40, I think. Black House. It was called Black House. What was I saying? The Black Tower. What the hell? Silky Johnson and the Black Tower. That would be a good movie. Anywho's, let me get a little sip of my drink. Sorry. Oh, I have to move him around so I can get a sip of my drink from a Buc-ee's cup. Critter light. Oh, Lord. The Africa dust blew into Austin the other day. And I've had a headache for like 2 days because of it. Ugh, disgusting. I'm over it. Now, it's starting to clear up. I think I feel better. But let's go ahead and do some horror headlines. Okay, here we go. Randy, I've got 3 for you. 2 about movies and 1 about A24. Let's start with a good one, all right? Aurelio Voltaire has been busy on the festival and convention circuit with his feature film directorial debut, The Demonatrix. It has been making waves throughout 2026 as a self-described unholy union of demonic horror and comedy. So the film follows a professional dominatrix named Lita, who is played by VHS star Hannah Fierman. Now, Lita's business hits a dry spell, so she tries to pivot to a new career as a spiritual medium. And things go, well, predictably sideways when she accidentally summons an incubus played by Kevin Ogre Ogilvy of Skinny Puppy. Aurelio Voltaire stars alongside Fierman as her neighbor, a Catholic priest named Father Veto, who finds himself entangled in the chaos and forced to seek help from a mentor figure played none other than by Doug Bradley of Hellraiser. The movie is co-directed with Jeff Farrell, and the film has been picking up awards on the indie circuit, including Best Creature Feature at the Portland Horror Film Festival and Best Horror Comedy at A Night of Horror. I was lucky enough to see a screener of this movie, and I have to tell you, if it comes across your horror festival's desk, you should really pay some attention to this one. This movie really highlights practical effects. It's got a lot of good practical effects work, even some cool claymation type stuff, which was a lovely surprise. It also gave me like a tiny bit of Rosemary's Baby vibes in terms of like, you know, the demon and Lita's character and what goes on there. And there's, you know, dream sequences and things like that. And it does go into the horror comedy realm. There's some serious laugh out loud moments. I've been reading about what other people have been saying about the movie, and they're calling the humor campy, which I'm a fan of campy horror humor myself. So yeah, it's a good one. If you happen to be attending a film festival and it's screening, I suggest you go ahead and sit in on that. And if you are affiliated with a horror convention, I suggest you check and see if this one's been submitted to your festival, because it's a great watch. It's feature length, but it's paced really well, so it just goes by, without any dead spots, I would say. There's not a lot of lag time in this movie. And the set design, whoever was behind that, especially in Father Veto's room, super great set design. I wonder if that was Aurelio Voltaire's work himself, because he's very good with design work. If you've seen The Lair of Voltaire, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this was a fun watch. It was a good movie. I definitely recommend it. That's the Demonatrix. It'll be at a horror film festival near you. Next, this one's, this is the A24 story again. So, just to refresh your memory, on Monday, Google DeepMind announced their $75 million investment in A24, okay? It's giving A24 access to DeepMind's research, infrastructure, and global reach, which will have an active hand in shaping new workflows with A24 and its filmmakers retaining full creative control, is what they're saying. Okay. This, I need you to know. I did a little bit of a deep dive into this topic because I'm still like, what in the actual F is going on? You know what I mean? So this comes alongside the news that a lot of people have missed. And I think that's kind of on purpose. I think most people miss little nuggets like this in the news unless you go looking for it. We're all too busy scrolling. I do it too. I'm guilty of it too. But if you do a little investigative work, you'll find stuff like this. So, around the same time that A24 announced their partnership with the AI shit, okay, there was news that A24, this actually was a little bit before, but the news that A24 has secured a new round of funding led by Josh Kushner's investment firm, Thrive Capital. Okay. Thrive Capital has written massive category-defining checks to anchor central positions in OpenAI. OpenAI, they're the makers of ChatGPT, okay? So they've written checks to OpenAI, Databricks, Anduril, and the AI coding assistant Cursor. Just know that. So they're in deep with all of this AI stuff. Josh Kushner, by the way, is Jared Kushner's younger brother. And as you know, Jared Kushner is Donald Trump's son-in-law. And Jared Kushner also has an AI startup called Brain Company. Here's the thing, bubs. All of these billionaires, all of them are involved in AI. They all have their own AI companies, Grok and OpenAI and all of they're just all involved in it. Know that. All right. So the capital injection that is going on with A24 serves several distinct growth initiatives for A24 because it's transitioning into a large global media brand. It's no longer going to be this auteur, indie horror, darling production company. No. The funds that support A24's push from exclusive art house indie film, it's going to push them from that to this larger budget, IP driven commercial, industry product. What do you call that thing? What do you call it when something's, in a factory and it's like along the line, like it, assembly line of IP driven crap. That's just, in my opinion, allegedly. The big money is going to force A24 to go towards this type of shit, okay? Also, they're diversifying from, instead of doing just movies, they're going to be doing live theater, music publishing, and consumer products. All right. Industry analysts noted that Thrive Capital's extensive footprint in the artificial intelligence realm, all right, gave A24 strategic access to the tech sector expertise. Well, that's no surprise. But I want you to hear what Sophia Shin, who is A24's spokesperson, what she is saying. So, you know, they released that they're doing this partnership. A lot of people got upset about it, rightfully so. And then A24 responded through Sophia. Sophia says that DeepMind's $75 million investment constitutes a research partnership, you guys. Quote, she says, quote, "We're working side by side with DeepMind's researchers to learn, iterate, and build, having an active hand in shaping new tools and workflows." She told that to Wired, by the way. That is the most PR sounding response you could craft. She goes on to say, quote, "Our relationship with our audience is something we don't take for granted." Okay. She goes on to say, quote, "This partnership exists because we want to dictate what tools get built for artists and so that they have a voice in shaping them rather than having tools handed to them. We'd rather have a seat at the table than on the sidelines," unquote. Girl, please. That sounds like, you know, we're joining the bad guys to tell the bad guys to not be bad guys anymore. Meanwhile, we're a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't sound right. Shin stressed that there are no plans to use A24's existing IP to create generative AI tools. So she's saying they're not going to use the existing the existing IP, intellectual property from all the movies that have come out through A24. They're not going to touch that for generative AI. And I told you guys on the last podcast, that's the same shit that Lionsgate told us whenever they announced their partnership with their AI, company. And it turns out that they are in fact going to do that. They can say one thing when they announce these partnerships and then, put out these sound bites and little clips. And that's all most people need to see, hear, or read to believe it. When I posted about this last week, I've had people in the comment section just parroting what the spokesperson had said. And they're not going to do generative AI. But they said it's just to help, directors do directors tools. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I got to tell you, they've said they're not going to do generative AI stuff. But as my artist friend Paul pointed out, one of the big things they're saying they're going to do is storyboards. They're going to use AI to make storyboards. Well, people, by the way, that's already happening. People are already using AI to make storyboards. That's really neither here nor there. But A24 saying that they're not going to do generative AI, that's already not true. Because if they're admitting that they're going to do AI to make generative storyboards, that is generative AI. Now, whether or not they're going to use existing IP, right now they're saying they're not going to, but if they're already telling, saying these things that might come off as allegedly, in my opinion, half-truths, what's to say they're not going to, in a year from now, when, the buzz has died down, sneakily add in there, oh, yeah, we are going to actually use our existing IP to make a new series, without having to hire back the actors and the writers and all of that. I mean, I just don't know. It's a scary world we're getting into. Here's another thing that Shin, the spokesperson from A24, said, quote, "Truth is, we don't necessarily love any of the current AI outputs on screen in Hollywood. I don't even know if ultimately we'd create tech on that front. This partnership is about learning and helping pain points and workflows behind the scenes more than anything else." Go back a little bit. She says, I don't even know if we are going to use AI in that aspect. So she's not saying we're not going to. She says, I don't even know if ultimately we'd create tech on that front. I don't even know if ultimately we will or won't do this. She's not saying we're not going to. They're not taking a hard stance and saying they're not going to. She's just being like, right now, I don't like how generative AI looks. I don't like what Hollywood has already put out there. I don't like it. Well, they're getting $75 million to make what she doesn't like about it look a lot better. So I guarantee you, allegedly, in my opinion, they will be creating AI output bullshit. It's not going to be just for directors. It's just not. That's just allegedly and in my opinion. Okay. What do you guys think about that? I'd love to hear your opinions on what's going on with this. But the takeaway is the AI, A24, the Kushner guy being involved, all of the billionaires being involved in AI. It's all anything that is precious and beautiful. They're going to get their hands on. It feels like it's almost inevitable. So when you have a chance to support indie horror in its still pure form, like, for example, Aurelio Voltaire's Demonatrix, that will be out in these indie horror film festivals, while you still can support stuff like that, support art that is in that form, pure and untouched, and Kushners don't have their little grimy fingers in it yet. Try and support it. That's what I'm saying. Because it feels inevitable that, AI's here. There's no putting it back in the box. We can't get rid of it. It's not going to happen. It's here. It's infiltrating. And anything big business is going to be using AI. And it's really going to hurt artists. We know that. So let's support artists while we can. I do also think the one glimmering little beam of light in all of this is I think that there's going to be a renaissance for human art. I think the renaissance will be actual human artists are going to start creating art in such a way that we can all tell, that there's no way that a computer did that. We had my friend Brenna up on here a few weeks ago, artist friend Brenna, who is going back to painting rather than digital work because she's wanting to make sure people know it's human work. And I think we're going to see more of that. I think people that do digital work are going to find ways to make it obvious that it's not AI. And all of that stuff is exciting. It's going to be a push, I think, to give us a different, a new artist's. What was the word I just said? Lord Jesus, help me! Go on, dang it! You know what I mean. Hold on. What up? Necrotones is in the chat. I just keep hitting this microphone because it's not in the right place. I'm so sorry. Okay. Punkosaurus. That's another great name. Hey, Punkosaurus. I was just checking the chat. Let's do one more horror headline, all right? Let me check my time. Oh, good. We're on schedule. Okay. The blood is about to hit the fan. Mark your calendars for... Let me start that again because that was a little weakest. The blood is about to hit the fan. Mark your calendars for July 10th because Evil Dead Burn is officially storming into theaters and the anticipation is reaching a fever pitch. Director Sebastian Vanecek is bringing this new chapter to the theaters, and he promises deadite carnage and practical effects that fans have been buzzing about since the first trailer dropped, to be honest. Vanecek explicitly noted that a huge portion of Evil Dead Burn is illuminated purely by flame, rather than lighting a set, normally, and overlaying digital fire later, which is what you see a lot of people do these days. The production used live fire to capture the authentic reflections, heat waves, and flickers against the actor's skin and environments. That sounds amazing. To depict a new breed of deadites that emerge from and thrive in fire, the production relied heavily on practical stunt choreography. Stunt performers coated in thick layers of Nomex, which is that flame-resistant gear. They were in that and specialized protective cooling gels. They passed live open flames directly from one actor to another during the takes. to capture uninterrupted horror in a single shot. That right there makes me want to see this movie. Knowing that it's not just a bunch of digital fire thrown up on the screen, that they're using live fire for lighting and live fire going from one performer to another. Whoo, Lord. I'll be there seeing that. If you haven't already, right now, go check my Instagram and make sure if you want to see Evil Dead Burn, I'm doing a giveaway, so you can go in and follow the rules for the contest. I'm giving away, I think, 10 pairs of tickets. So I'll be watching that one in the theaters for sure. Evil Dead Burn comes out in theaters July 10th. All right, that was the horror headlines, guys. Oh, did we have the horror headlines logo? I think we missed that. That's okay. Oh, we did? Sorry, I'm not looking. All right, let me check back on the thing. David says it all comes down to who's utilizing it, meaning AI, and what are their intentions. Hopefully, they'll ultimately make the right decisions. Now, David, you know they're not going to make the right decisions. Are you serious with that? You are a very lovely man, and you have an optimistic point of view. I don't. I just don't. I think, maybe I'm a little bit heavy on the conspiracy theory side of things, but I think a lot of things are going on. Like, I think they want us not paying attention to anything, and the algorithms of TikTok especially, but all of our social media platforms do this to us in various ways. But the algorithms, there's a documentary about this. I can't remember what it's called, but it keeps us on our phone, right? It keeps us sucked in, and we spend a large portion of the day just scrolling from video after video after video after video. Meanwhile, all of this stuff is going on out there that we have no idea. Like, we don't know, we do not have a seat at these tables. We do not know what these billionaires are doing. Why are they making all these bunkers, for the love of God? You know what I mean? Do you know about the bunkers? All the billionaires are making bunkers. But I don't trust the AI stuff. I do think when we talk about AI, I do think we can talk about AI as a tool, and AI as something that is robbing artists. Okay, there's tool AI, and then that people can use to help their workflow, and they're already doing it, and it's amazing. There's tool AI that is basically doing the jobs of software engineers now, and will be doing the jobs of all sorts of other professionals, which is scary. And then there's generative AI, which is taking artwork that has already been put out there and using it and manipulating it, and then, taking the jobs of those in the arts. But the one thing that they both have in common is they're taking jobs. AI, at least, we can point to some digital monster now about who's taking the jobs. But AI is coming for everybody. Everybody. It's a little scary. I don't know, man. That's just where we're at. So let's be real. And I don't think we can be cautious enough about it. Just, try and stay in the real world a little bit. I found that when I started reading again, not on my phone, not on a tablet, not listening to books, but when I started actually reading physical books again, because I used to all the time, I used to read voraciously. But then when I got addicted to the internet, that took a back seat. So I've been, making myself get back into reading again. And once the story grabs me, it's good. And I'm down to read every night. But since I've been reading again, it's, I feel different. I don't really have the words to express that just yet. Let me ruminate on it a little bit. Let me think about it a little bit and get back to you on what that means. But I think, being with people, having community, and when you're by yourself, instead of just being on your phone, maybe trying to get back into reading or doing something like if you play an instrument, play your instrument, anything human, try that. do that for a while. Make yourself get back into that. Let's see. Punkasaur says, look at the Val Kilmer movie they made. It's a slippery slope. Yeah. Val Kilmer, his estate allowed Val Kilmer, the deceased actor who gave us such wonderful characters like the Doc Holliday and Tombstone, for example. They made a movie with his AI, character. It's him recreated via AI, and they're doing a movie with him. And I just saw they're doing that with somebody else. Ooh, who was it? I know I saw that they're going to have Ozzy Osbourne do a tour. AI Ozzy Osbourne, I heard, is going to be doing a tour, which, I don't know, major side eye. You know what I'm saying? Major side eye there. But I saw that another family of a deceased celebrity is granting whatever company it is permission to use their deceased celebrity as an AI. And that's where it starts. And see, all of these actors in Hollywood, they're shitting their pants because they're worried. Oh, it is Gene Wilder. Thank you. They're worried that current actors are worried that AI is coming for their jobs and that these studios are going to just make, AI images based on the actors and the movie stars we have. And they went and they had a strike about it, and, rules were written and whatnot. But here's the sneaky way to go into that the studios have found is that, let's just get dead celebrities. Let's find whoever holds the estate for all of these celebrities that have passed on and convince the estate holders to let us use the dead celebrity as AI. We're going to see Marilyn Monroe. We're going to see all these dead celebrities come back AI version. Do you remember when they were doing this they were trying to do it with holograms for a while, but it didn't work. Oh, Punkasaurus says Stan Lee. They're doing it with Stan Lee too? What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's terrible. David says basically that reading is authentic nourishment for the soul. Yeah, anything that's authentic nourishment for the soul. Community, reading, instrument, playing an instrument, listening to music. Go touch grass, basically, being in nature, doing whatever you can. And, it's something that I have to force myself sometimes to do. And I think I'm not the only one. It's something I have to make myself do sometimes. So I wish you all luck in being able to do the same and, take baby steps if you can. All right. That's all I have to say about that. I know it's hard. I know it can be hard. Listen, I've got, I've told you before, I have an autoimmune disorder, which leads to all sorts of issues that I don't really want to get into, but chronic pain is one of them. So sometimes it's hard to do a lot of stuff. So I know it can be hard, but reading a book is not hard. It's hard getting off your phone, getting off your scroll. That's hard, but reading is not for me anyway. I like it. But I just have to tell myself to do it sometimes, Tony says, I did a photo op with Val Kilmer a few years ago. Now's my chance to get a new one with him again. Tony, you son of a bitch. What if they do AI? What if they figure out a way to do AI photo ops at these conventions? Do you think people will sign up to meet AI Val Kilmer? I mean, I hope not. Tony, you ridiculous. Oh, my Lord. Let's get into phone calls. So the phone call from last week, the question from last week was, if you could visit a horror movie set or location for like 24 hours and go to explore it, what would you visit? Let's hear phone call number one.
Hello, Sarah. This is David Hocutt. All the times I've called in, now I'm finally saying my name. But I'm responding to the question of the week. If you could spend 24 hours in a horror movie set or location, which one would it be? And like so many people, it's like that list is just so long. Definitely all the sets from The Fog, the Amityville Horror House, the Exorcist House, all the sets that were featured in that movie, The Car, from 1977. Of course, the Halloween house, that's like a must for everybody. The entire campground of Sleepaway Camp, the Shining House. I mean, it's just, there's just so many. I mean, you could sit there and just spend half the night naming them. But, yeah, those are some of my choices, and the list could go on. But you have a good one. Take care.
Thank you, David Hocutt. Boy, you listed a bunch of them. David, you're in the chat right now. Narrow it down. I want you to give me one. Like, what pops to your head right now out of all those, which is the one, if I said you have to pick one, I want to know. Everyone else in the chat, too, if you can think of one you want to visit, put it in the chat. I'm curious as to what people would visit. I said last week that I think it would be the Shining, what is it? The Stanley Hotel? What's the Shining Hotel called? Whatever it is. That's where I think I would want to go check out. Also, the remake of Pet Sematary, the cemetery they created was really cool. I would like to go check that out, I think, too. David, you cracked me up when you said sleepaway camp. You just want to go look at a dang campground? That was an actual camp. That was the camp that the director went to as a child. He got to film at the camp he went to. I can't remember the real name of it. But speaking of that, on the 7th, July 7th, I'm going with my friends Ryan and Marissa to the Paramount Theater. They're going to be showing Sleepaway Camp, and Felissa Rose will be there, and Peaches Christ, one of my favorite drag queens, is going to be, hosting it. Her and Felissa, so that'll be fun. That's going to be on the 7th at Paramount here in Austin, Texas. Let's hear the second phone call.
Yeah, the movie I'd probably say to live in the cast of, or the thing you had mentioned on the chat, was probably Night of the Demons, 1989. It's been always my favorite film since I was 4 years old, and ever since I saw it, I thought to myself, it'd probably be pretty cool to go to a funeral home like that and just sit there and just have fun, like a little relaxation or party, or who knows. And matter of fact, I live right next to a funeral home right now, and been living here for the past 41 years. I've really enjoyed it, really liked it, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's one of the safest places to be. It's just like a cemetery. Peace.
That's true. Cemeteries are full of dead people. They're not going to get you. They always say never trust the living. Those are the ones you got to watch out for. Dead people, though, they cool. They're just going to hang out. However, people who own and operate funeral homes, have you seen, there was a documentary. Boy, I wish I remember the name of that documentary. It's about this guy. His family owned a funeral home, and they had a crematorium. And turns out he was not properly operating that crematorium. And boy, it's absolutely ghastly. Just, Google documentary about a funeral home / crematorium. And the guy also, I think he maybe killed another funeral home guy. I can't remember. Anyway, it was a good one. I can't remember the name of it, but you should check that out. Did you say Night of the Demons has been your favorite horror movie since you were 4? Who let a 4-year-old watch Night of the Demons or any horror movie? Oh my Lord, baby. That's crazy. I mean, I did see Night of the Living Dead when I was very little. I was probably around 6 when I saw it. So I understand, like, maybe you saw it on accident. Maybe that's what's wrong with us. We saw these things way too young, or what's right with us. I don't know. Either way, I do know I was introduced to horror at a very, very young age, and it left its mark, obviously. Okay. Let me check our chat really quick. Okay, let's see. Punkosaurus said, what? He was just talking about Val Kilmer stuff. All right. David, he said he picks The Fog, The Lighthouse from The Fog. Okay, good choice. That's a good one. Hey, Julio July says that he's going to Houston, the Houston Sleepaway Camp screening. Oh, Awesome. I wonder when that one is, if it's before or after the Austin screening on the 7th. Punkosaur says he would go with the Cell VR Dreams. Oh, the Cell had a great set. Oh, and a great costume designer. The costume designer for the Cell was the same costume designer for Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Coppola. Amazing, amazing costume designer. Let's see. Justin Gallatin. Sorry, I can't see. Hermie, get in my way. Well, Justin says he would visit the Shaun of the Dead set. Oh, the bar? That would be cool. I'm guessing you're assuming you're talking about the bar, or, because there's lots of sets in that movie. But I think out of all of the sets, I would want to go to the bar. That would be fun. I want to ask a question for next week. So go ahead and put up our phone number. Let's see. Oh, there we are. Okay. Call Scarah Scary Hotline at 512-710-8766 and tell me, what is the horror hill you would die on? I want to know what the unpopular opinion regarding whatever horror movie or horror in general is that you have. What is the horror hill you would die on? Give me a call. 512-710-8766. That's Scarah Scary Hotline, and leave me a message, and I will play your call on the next podcast. Okay, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Somebody says the Cell, Punkosaur says the sets and the costume in the Cell were amazing and the whole vibe of that movie. Yes, it's actually I think there are 2 Jennifer Lopez movies that I can stomach. The Cell is one of them. And Selena, when she depicted Selena, that was the other one that I thought she did a good job in. After that, I don't know what's going on with Jennifer Lopez. She's a strange lady. She's a strange one, isn't she, Herman? Look at what he does. Just looks back at his mama. He's so cute. I think he's telling us that we need to get close to wrapping it up, and he's right. I have to do a bunch of stuff right after this because I gotta get the photos and stuff over to my artist, Dr. Abominable, so he can make the artwork for the next Scarah Scream Theater, which is happening Sunday, July 5th at Doc's Drive-In Theater. We show the movies around sundown out there at Doc's Drive-In Theater, which has, been a little bit later and later every time. It's close. It's I would say the sun starts setting 8:50 or something now. And we have to wait till it's dark because it's a drive-in theater, which is amazing. I love showing movies at the drive-in theater. But I gotta do the photos for that so we can start posting about it. So right after this, I go to the green screen room and do that. But it's been nice talking to y'all. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask me before I wrap it up? I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer. What else do I have going on? Oh, I've got a couple of shows coming up with my band, The Immortals. And I'm going to have to look at my calendar. I should have had this all ready to go, but that's who I am. I'm not always prepared. Okay. That's why we have calendars. But I have 2 shows in July with my band, The Immortals. On Saturday, the 11th, The Immortals will be playing the Crowbar with a bunch of other cool bands. I wish I had all that information here for you. I might be able to pull it up. And then the next show is also in July. We will be playing an Austin Ghoul Gang event. The Immortals will be playing an Austin Ghoul Gang event at Kick Butt Coffee on July 24th. That's a Friday. Those Ghoul Gang events are so cool because Alyssa, who is a bartender at Kick Butt, she programs the Ghoul Gang events. She chooses a movie that she shows everyone. She picks the bands and puts them on the bill. So everybody watches a movie and then the bands play. And it's a really good way to, spend a Friday. All right. Alyssa is out there doing the Lord's work. Alyssa's out there trying to make horror community, and I commend her for that. I am right now running over here quickly to the Immortals Instagram because the Immortals Instagram is going to tell us Who is on the bill for that show? Okay, here we go. July 11th at Crowbar, the Immortals will be playing with Screamin' Jay, Wax Wizard, and it looks like a band called Ex-Satanist, ATX. That's going to be fun. Okay, that's July 11th. So I hope you can see my band play one of those shows, if not both of those shows, because our bass player has impregnated his fiancée, and she's having a baby in August, so we won't be able to play for a while after that. So come and see us. Okay, what do we have here? David says July 5th is his birthday. Oh, David, where do you even live? Do you live in the area? If so, come out to Scream Theater, July 5th. Silky Johnson says he's bummed he's going to miss the next screening on the 5th. Going to be out of town for 4th of July. Silky Johnson, who is this? I don't know who you are because I don't know your screen name, but that's hilarious. Oh, Tony Tomato. Tony says, what, no Bone Deep with Herman? Herman said we have the logo up. Herman, do you want to play Bone Deep? I don't know if I have any. Okay, let's see. Herman, I don't have any questions ready, but let's go. Okay, Herman, raise your hand if you like slashers. Herman, raise your hand if you like psychological horror. Herman, raise your hand if you like Scream Queens. What about Final Girls? Oh, that was 2 paws. Herman, raise your hand if you like practical effects. Herman, raise your hand if you want to see generative AI in your horror movies. Oh my goodness, that's a no. That's a big no. Herman, raise your hand if you're going to go see Evil Burn in the theaters. Awesome, Herman. Herman, raise your hand if you support indie horror. 2 paws up from Herman. And finally, Herman, raise your hand if you have seen your mama's movie, Damsel of the Doomed. Whoa, Herman raised his whole body. Good job, Herman. You got 100%. You got 100%. Oh, that sound you hear is Herman's ear all over my microphone. Oh, you got 100%, my baby boy. Yes, you did. You won. There's Gordon Orr in the chat. What's up, Mitch? Hello. Sorry, Herman messed up the microphone game. Oh, my God. Yes, you did. Herman did get 100%. He beat everybody. Who was our guest last week? Oh, it was the lovely Caitlin. She's actually the person to beat. Caitlin's the human to beat, and Herman's the dog to beat. I don't think any dog's going to be able to beat Herman. No dog will get 100%. I loved having Caitlin on, by the way. I think Caitlin is so authentically herself. She is a delight. Caitlin's one of those people that whenever I see her, my spirits are lifted. Do you know anybody like that in your life? That's how Caitlin is in my life. Out at Bat City, whenever I see her, I'm just, she makes me happier. I just think she's funny. Yeah, she's odd in the best way. I love that. You know who she no, I don't want to. You remember, okay, I'm a watermelon slammed into your driveway. You know, that adorable character. I'm not saying that's how Caitlin is, but there's a thread of Caitlin from that character, from that movie. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't, I don't care. Gordon War, Mitch says, no Hermans were beat in the filming of this podcast. He never is. Herman doesn't know any strife. The only strife Herman's known in his life is whenever he was poisoned that one time. And if I ever find out who did it, you're going to get poisoned right back. Okay? That's a promise. Don't you worry. We save your life. I raised up to the blood moon when Herman and Gomez were suffering from their poisons. And I used the power of the blood moon at Scarah Scream Theater and the power of manifestation to heal. And it worked. And the Lord, it worked. David says chili dog women are invincible. Yes. Speaking of Caitlin loves a good hot dog. All right, guys. What time is it? Shit. I'm telling you, I was just going to do a tight hour, and I think that's where we got. We got one tight hour. So thank you for joining me. Let's see. Let me tell you who next week's. I think next week it's Kareem. I think it is. Let's see. Kareem Badr. Let's see if it's Kareem's. It is. Kareem played the male lead Virum in Damsel of the Doomed, and he will be joining us on our podcast next week. Kareem is a well-established actor and community. Do I say community leader? I don't know. Kareem has a lot to do with the Austin actor community. Okay, we'll talk about that. The Hideout Theater. All right, we'll talk about that. Okay. Oh, Gorn War. Mitch says I'm going to holler at you about the next issue of the magazine. Oh, I cannot wait. That sounds amazing, Mitch. If you guys haven't picked up a copy of Gorn War magazine in a while, go check out their website and see what you're missing out on. Gorn War has been around for quite some time, and they do good stuff. Check that out. All right. Yay. Well, that's something to look forward to. Thank you, Mitch. So I will wrap this up now. Thanks for joining in on this podcast. Thanks for listening to me go on and on. Next week, we'll be back to having a guest. Until then, my name is Scarah, Damsel of the Doomed, and I'll see you in your screens.